Romney versus Perry's gotten interesting. There was a values voter summit in Washington over the weekend. They all, of course, went to talk about how much they love values, family values, like hating gay people. That's par for the course. No one's surprised by that. But there was a surprising moment when Robert Jeffress, who is a Baptist pastor, came to introduce Rick Perry. He said some inflammatory things about basically Mitt Romney and his faith. So let's see if you can pick up his not so subtle references here. Clip one.
But the reason as a pastor that I'm excited about the candidacy of Rick Perry is not because of his fiscal policies, but it's because of his strong commitment to biblical values. Now, I know that many would say that a lot of the candidates we're having the opportunity to hear these next 2 days, a lot of them possess one, two, perhaps all three of those attributes, and that may be. But I believe in a few months, when the smoke has cleared, those of us who are evangelical Christians are going to have a choice to make. And the choice is going to be this. Do we want a candidate who is skilled in rhetoric, or one who is skilled in leadership? Do we want a candidate who is a conservative out of convenience, or one who is a conservative out of deep conviction? Do we want a candidate who is a good moral person, or do we want a candidate who is a born-again follower of the Lord Jesus Christ? Rick Perry is a proven leader. He is a true conservative, and he is a genuine follower of Jesus Christ.
All right. Early on, he refers to basically flip-flopping, obviously talking about Mitt Romney. Then he says, you can be a good person, but you've got to be a genuine born-again Christian and a true Christian. Now, if those references were not clear enough for you as to who the born-again is and who the true Christian is and who isn't, he's going to make it very clear next.
The Southern Baptist Convention, which is the largest Protestant denomination in the world, has officially labeled Mormonism as a cult. I think Mitt Romney's a good moral man, but I think those of us who are born-again followers of Christ should always prefer a competent Christian to a competent non-Christian like Mitt Romney.
Here comes the Mormon issue. He just called it a cult. So they're bringing religion right into this thing, and we were wondering when they were going to get dirty like this, and the answer is apparently fairly quickly. So now when they asked Pastor Jeffress about whether Rick Perry put him up to this, he said, oh, no, the Family Research Council asked me to introduce Rick Perry. Poor Rick Perry has no idea, except that they happen to be very good friends. When asked about that, he said, quote, Rick Perry has never listened to a sermon of mine. He's certainly never been a member of my church. We are just acquaintances. Not buying it. Okay, it's obvious that the Rick Perry camp asked this Dallas pastor, who he has been friends with all along, to come out and swing very aggressively against Mitt Romney. There ain't no question about it. So now the question is, how will the other candidates respond? They had a chance to respond with Candy Crowley on CNN. First up, Herman Cain. Let's see how he tackles.
Is Mitt Romney a non-Christian?
I'm not running for theologian-in-chief. I'm a lifelong Christian. And what that means is one of my guiding principles for the decisions I make is I start with do the right thing. I'm not getting into that controversy.
But it still will beg the question that you dodged a direct question, which is Mitt Romney not a Christian?
He is a Mormon. That much I know. I am not going to do an analysis of Mormonism versus Christianity for the sake of answering that. I'm not getting into that. I am a Christian.
Even knowing it'll look like you're dodging it.
If that's what it looks like, I'm dodging it because it's not going to help us boost this economy, and you know that that's my #1 priority.
He's a Mormon. That much I know. So here they go. I mean, it's a clear implication that, he ain't Christian like us. He might claim to be Christian, but I don't know a thing about that. It reminds me of when Hillary Clinton said about Obama, I'll take his word that he's not Muslim. Now, in this case, Mitt Romney is actually Mormon. In that case, Barack Obama wasn't even Muslim, and they were trying to smear him with it anyway. Herman Cain continues to do the same dance here.
And on a more general note, is someone's religion a valid campaign issue?
I believe it is a valid concern, but I don't think it necessarily should be a big campaign issue. What I believe people want to know, what are your guiding principles and what are your values? Because your guiding principles and your values will impact how you make decisions. That's what I believe it is. So just focusing on religion alone is not enough to determine how that person will make decisions.
It's not enough alone, but you should consider it. He said, in fact, it's a valid concern. So they're not even being subtle about it, okay? They're saying, this guy, I don't know if he's a Christian or not. Should that be one of the things you should consider? Certainly. Maybe it's not the most important thing, but think about it. You've got a lot of good conservatives here who are true Christians. Michelle Bachmann continues the theme.
This is so inconsequential as far as this campaign is concerned. We have religious tolerance in this country, and we understand that people have different views on their faith, and I have a very sincerely held belief on faith, and I think we just leave it at that.
Well, the thing is, it's not so inconsequential, is it? In a primary on the Republican side, where conservative Christians have quite a lot of say-so, particularly when you move south into South Carolina and places like that. So it's not inconsequential for someone to call a major candidate in the Republican Party in the primary season not a Christian.
Well, again, I have a very strong, sincerely held faith. I talked about it at the Values Voters, and the candidates can have the faith that they want, but the beauty about America is that we do have tolerance for each one's faith, and that's where it's at.
And let me just, because I gave Herman Cain the same opportunity, you know that by not answering the direct question, do you think Mitt Romney is a Christian, you leave open the possibility that people are going to say that you dodged the question, the direct question.
No, I think what the real focus is here, again, is on religious tolerance. That's really what this is about. And I think, again, to make this a big issue is just ridiculous right now.
Now, to be fair to Michelle Bachmann, she did the best she could in at least trying to bring tolerance into it. And when Michelle Bachmann is one of your more tolerant candidates, you've got a fascinating primary going on that Republican side. Now, and to be fair to her, she's a little stuck, as all these guys are, right? Because is Mormonism really Christianity? As an agnostic, I don't even know. I mean, I honestly, I think both believe in goofy things. I mean, the Mormons believe that the guy looked with the magic glass into a magic hat or whatever he looked into and then lost the tablets. It all sounds crazy to me, right? But on the other hand, the Christians say Jesus walked on water and revived the dead and turned fish into wine, or whatever he turned into wine and the other thing into fish and the bread, etc. That, if you're a rational person, that also sounds a little unbelievable. So which of those different things do they all believe? Does Mitt Romney believe in the magic glasses plus the walking on water, or does he only believe in the magic glasses? Right? And they can't say, Michelle Bachmann can't say, and Herman Cain can't say, oh, it doesn't matter. Because they've built their careers and their campaign on, it does matter that I'm an evangelical Christian, that I'm a born-again Christian, that I'm a true believer. I believe Jesus Christ is so important to this country and the Judeo-Christian heritage, and I want to rule by his dictates, except for the fact that I'm going to totally ignore 90% of what he says about the poor and helping others, and I'm going to pretend that he's in favor of endless wars. But outside of that, I'm totally bought into the Jesus Christ, at least the Republican Party has marketed, right? So they can't say it doesn't matter. And if they say, hey, I don't know if Mormonism is Christianity, then it looks like they're questioning Romney's religion. It's because they are. The one guy we know who did it on purpose is Rick Perry. Okay, and he's coming. It's going to get dirty, and I think we're just at the beginning of it.